Welcome to Three Count Commentary. So we're gonna talk about Nikki Cross, Asuka, Charlotte, and Ripley. All right. So there was this garbage on Raw where Charlotte was mad that she lost to Nikki Cross and she wanted a rematch. Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce, we'll think about it. And then Rhea Ripley said she wanted a rematch. And then they came up with the idea for a tag team match would be Rhea Ripley and Charlotte. The opponents are going to team up. That trope, which I don't know when the last time we saw that, 2 weeks ago. And Nikki Cross and a partner, and she picked Asuka. So the things that we can talk about here is what they're doing with Nikki Cross. I'm not exactly fascinated or enthralled in any way with what they're doing with Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross won two-minute challenges back-to-back weeks. And then she starts cutting delusional, inspirational promos. It is the absolutely most ridiculous horse shit I can possibly think of. Like, she starts talking about how tenacious she is and how spirited, and that, she has to believe in herself and all this stuff. I'm like, what the hell? Like, she won a 2-minute challenge, and now she's, giving people the sacrament? She's, passing the blood of Jesus into their mouth. What the fuck is going on here? She won a 2-minute challenge, and it's technically not even a win because she didn't pin anybody. So it was absolutely ridiculous. What are they doing? And, I'm starting to think that other people are catching on with this whole Rhea Ripley mess, right? Is she a babyface or is she a heel? If she's a babyface, why do I like her? If she's a heel, why do I hate her? Why was she a heel in the first place? I have no idea. Like, Charlotte is a straight up heel. Nikki Cross is a straight up babyface, and so is Asuka. That's fine, but this blending of the boundaries with Rhea Ripley is completely bullshit. They fucked her over the moment they decided she was going to be a heel for WrestleMania and had no reason for it. There was no reason for it. And now they've been trying to fix this problem just by putting her across the ring from Charlotte. That's not good enough. Now you have to explain why she did all the dastardly shit she did to Asuka. You can't just be like, well, she's a babyface because she respects Nikki Cross. She don't have to be a babyface to respect Nikki Cross. You could be a respectful heel. This is stupid. This is a dumb storyline. Now, Nikki picking Asuka as a tag team partner was perfectly fine. I don't think, I think they did drug test both of them. Because I think that both of them were probably on something. There's just too much energy on that one team. There's too much dancing, too much, them running around being scamps. Like, it's too much. It's over the top. They're a great team, because they have matching personalities. Where, Asuka is, over the top, manic, and Nikki Cross is also manic, but she's also she's had quite the character arc where she went from being psycho, twisted sister to best friend, the ugly friend with Alexa Bliss, and she kind of softened up a little bit. And then she now has become super giddy, over the top giddy, manic. I've used that word already, but that's the best way to explain it. And she's kind of manic in both heel and baby faces, but she was more crazy before. But she was unpredictable. And but the character arc has been pretty sweet, and it's been a reason for the Nikki Cross character arc. Like, I saw somebody on Twitter complaining about that. Like, how did she get here? And I was like, well, follow the product. She made a friend. And that's how she got where she is. But you could also argue that Nikki Cross lost a lot. She gained something by teaming with Alexa Bliss, but she also lost a lot by teaming with Alexa Bliss. Because, she lost that edge. She lost to Twisted Sister, willing to do the last woman standing match and all that kind of stuff. She lost all that. She softened up. And now her sort of mediocrity is sort of the fault of herself for allowing, hanging out with Alexa Bliss to soften her up. Now, it would be nice if they would actually use that in terms of character and show that Nikki Cross kind of is tempted to go back to being that way, which I think should have been the best way to do this Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross stuff. The storyline would have been so much better if when Alexa Bliss started going dark, there was a threat for Nikki to go dark. Or even a temptation where Alexa says, like, you can't fight me. You need to join me. You know, you were crazy at one point. Be crazy again. You know, like that sort of thing. But that would be WWE actually paying attention to their fucking history and actually building upon the history that they've created and following character arcs and being willing to do things with drama, create drama and storytelling, which they have no interest in. They think people have the memory of hummingbirds, which is not exactly true. You know, I can remember shit from 1994. I may not be able to remember what I had for breakfast yesterday or what happened on Raw 2 weeks ago because this mass-produced shit is just stuff happening. But I can remember events from a long time ago. But to my point is Nikki Cross, you know, how she got to, you know, I believe in myself and I'm so happy. It's like, I don't know, man. It's been a pretty straight up. It's been a nice curve to get her to this point, but I still don't see it as being a push. She won this match, by the way, but she won because of Charlotte. Now, here's the dumb thing about this tag team match that really kind of took me out of it. Is right before the commercial break, you had Charlotte haul off and elbow Rhea Ripley in the face on purpose. Like a forearm shiver right to the face on purpose. And then they come back from commercial and they're still tag teaming. I'm like, what in the hell? Like what? Like that took me completely out of it. And I'm like, what is going on? Now, why would anybody just let somebody strike them and that's okay? Like, that's nonsense. I would never go for that. The babyfaces should never go for that. Why would anybody go for that? And now they're taunting each other. She's taunting Charlotte. Charlotte's taunting her. And then they're pushing and shoving each other. They're fighting. It's like, and then obviously Charlotte with the chop block and the natural selection, and Nikki Cross gets the pin, and then her and Asuka are table dancing. And I was kind of like, okay. Now, they are obviously maybe setting Nikki Cross up to be the next contender after Charlotte, which is probably the best thing for her. I still don't see it as being a push until Nikki Cross looks credible on her own, and that means actually beating somebody on her own. But it is looking more like a push than it did a week ago when I made the video that she wasn't being pushed, that she was wasting our time. But we being quite honest, they're still wasting our goddamn time because they're not telling any fucking story. You know, they got this, well, can they coexist? It's like, why do they ever need to coexist? They don't need to. Just say, okay, well, you know, they want to fight Nikki Cross because they want to, you know, avenge that 2-minute thing. But you can easily dismiss that because it's a 2-minute challenge. To be quite honest, they both should have said, well, what the hell were we thinking being able to beat Nikki Cross in 2 minutes? She's in this company. I can't beat anybody under this contract for 2 minutes. Put the company over. Say, hey, we only hired the best. Of course we can't beat Nikki Cross in 2 minutes. She's one of the best wrestlers in the world. Even if it's bullshit, you could at least came up with an excuse of why you didn't win and then moved past it and did something else. Why couldn't it have been a tag team match where they are on opposite sides of the ring? Or, you know, Rhea and Nikki versus Charlotte, and she had to find her own partner. And, of course, she was going to have a difficult time doing that because, you know, you fired half the fucking roster. So, who else are you going to believe? Charlotte and Naomi? Charlotte and Nia Jax? I don't know. But it shouldn't have been this. This was stupid. You know? And then you had Nikki Cross pin the champion. So now, naturally, she's going to be like, I'm a contender. You know, and that makes sense. You know, she pinned the champion. Now she's a contender. And she has done zero to really be in that position. So now they're pushing her as sort of this ultimate underdog. And I'm just kind of like, I don't know why Nikki Cross has to be an underdog. You know, now I know why she has to be one now, because she's been off TV all this time and she's struggling as a babyface by herself with that heavy accent. But we're in this position now where we're kind of like, this was the fault of the company for firing so many people that was on Raw. You know, now you have no women you have to bring some up. So obviously they're going to bring some up. But this is an issue. This is an issue. You're scratching the bottom of the barrel here with this Nikki Cross thing. And I'm not a fan of what you're doing to Rhea Ripley because I don't see anything. I don't see any progression for her. Just her and Charlotte sniping at each other, being passive aggressive. I don't understand why you're being passive aggressive. What's the purpose of being passive aggressive? Just be aggressive. You're supposed to be fighting each other in 2 or 3 weeks. This is so frustrating. It's so stupid. It is so stupid. Can they coexist? Why do they ever need to? Why would they ever need to? There's no reason for that. And there's nothing on the line. There's no stakes. This shit doesn't matter. You could have had Nikki Cross wrestle somebody else. Had Nikki Cross wrestle Naomi. And then they could did more than 2 minutes. And then you had Nikki Cross steal one. Or, she wins by count out or something like that. And that way you could look like Nikki Cross is doing something. Or she's building momentum. You could have done anything. But this fucking stupid. This fucking sucked. This is basura. This is gobshite.